Confused by mushrooms in the kitchen? Don't worry. These versatile fungi aren't as tricky as they seem. Let's pull back the curtain so you can whip up a tasty mushroom dish with confidence, just like the experts. Restaurants usually go for the freshest ingredients, and mushrooms are no exception. Pros recommend choosing mushrooms that feel firm and dry. Any sliminess means they're past their peak. Because mushrooms don't stay fresh for long, picking the freshest ones is essential to get the best flavor and texture. Farmers markets are an ideal spot to find mushrooms, especially specialty types like lion's mane, maitake, an oyster that grocery stores may not carry. Amanda Janney, a mushroom farmer and founder of KM Mushrooms, notes, "A great perk of the farmers market is selection, and you can directly ask the farmer when the mushrooms were harvested. Locally grown mushrooms are very likely organically produced. If you're not hitting up a farmer's market, look to specialty grocery stores or neighborhood produce markets for mushrooms. Keep them refrigerated and try to use them within a few days for the best results." A lot of home cooks may not realize just how varied mushrooms can be. Janney points out, "I think this can be attributed to the fact that, in general, Americans are rather mycophobic. Luckily, specialty mushrooms offer a more flavorful and better texture than common Agaricus bisporus mushrooms. The majority of supermarkets typically stock just 3 types: white button, cremini, and portobello mushrooms, all of which are actually the same species, Agaricus bisporus, shown at various stages of maturity.
Mushrooms. Everybody loves mushrooms, right?
This means that someone who isn't fond of mushrooms might just be turned off by Agaricus bisporus. In reality, flavors and textures differ dramatically among mushroom species. James Beard Award-winning chef Galen Zamara prefers morels, a wild variety that can't be cultivated on farms. He notes, "I love stuffing them and roasting them whole. Having said that, they are harder to get and more expensive." You might also come across piapino and chestnut mushrooms, both offering rich, nutty flavors that make them ideal for soups and stews. Shiitake mushrooms deliver a strong umami punch, whereas oyster mushrooms are tender and mild, pairing beautifully with seafood dishes. This wide array of options allows professional chefs to craft a remarkable spectrum of flavors and textures. Chances are you've been tackling mushrooms the wrong way. For starters, you generally don't want to rinse them under running water. Chef Zamara notes, "They will absorb too much water and then no matter what just steam and be soggy and watered down in flavor. Instead, opt for a gentle approach. Use a soft brush or the edge of a knife to carefully remove any stubborn dirt."
It's with a soft brush. Don't use water. Never use water with mushrooms.
Vincenzo Della Poya, executive chef and cooking school instructor at the Pin Longevity Center, also advises using a brush, noting, "It's like mushroom meditation. Just simply take your time and clean with a gentle brush or damp cloth. Make sure they are dry before you trim the stems and chop as needed." When preparing mushrooms, Janney begins by trimming away any tough or uneven sections, adding, "I normally hand-tear mushrooms for recipes that call for larger pieces of mushrooms as it gives a great texture. Other recipes are better suited for rough chopping or dicing. I also love to slice lengthwise and marinate mushrooms before roasting or grilling." If you end up with a pile of mushroom stems and leftover bits, Janney recommends keeping them to make a flavorful broth. This can serve as a foundation for soups and sauces, or be sipped on its own as a rich, umami-packed drink.
We gotta cook this! Now exactly how we cook this is the real question. Ooh.
Sautéing mushrooms in a pan is one of the fastest and simplest cooking methods. But because mushrooms hold a lot of water, they need plenty of room for that moisture to evaporate. Crowding them in the pan causes steaming rather than browning, which is a common pitfall. As Della Poya explains, they need room to breathe. It's not a mushroom mosh pit. To prevent overcrowding, always use a roomy skillet or sauté pan. If your pan is on the smaller side, cook the mushrooms in separate batches. Janney's go-to approach for a simple sauté starts with a dry pan. Let the mushrooms sweat over medium-high heat for 5 to 10 minutes. Then add your choice of butter or oil along with herbs and seasonings. Cover the pan and cook for about 10 minutes, then uncover. Give them a stir and cook a few more minutes. As Janney puts it, this will crisp the underside while leaving the top softer and chewier. Professional kitchens aren't shy about turning up the heat on mushrooms. Similar to the overcrowding issue, cooking mushrooms over low heat makes them steam rather than sear, which prevents that rich golden brown flavor from developing. Zamara explains, this not only affects the flavor, but ends in soggy textures. He advises turning the heat up enough that any moisture released from the mushrooms evaporates quickly. If the pan is pooling with liquid, the temperature is too low. Della Poya echoes this approach, noting that high heat helps caramelize the mushroom's natural sugars, creating richer flavor and a slightly crispy texture. But before they can brown properly, the mushroom's water must first evaporate, which only high heat can achieve. This principle applies across cooking methods. Whether roasting, air frying, or grilling, mushrooms need sufficient heat to reach that golden brown finish. It's well known that restaurants tend to use generous amounts of fat or oil in their dishes. While it may not be the lightest approach, it definitely boosts flavor, and mushrooms are no exception. When sautéing, Zamara favors using butter or olive oil, explaining, "Mushrooms are like sponges and absorb the fat easily, so use a tasty fat. Butter helps develop flavors when they brown." Henderson's favorite preparation starts with sautéing mushrooms in oil. He prefers shiitake or chanterelles for their hearty, meaty bite, noting, "Heat up a large skillet, add a little oil, and cook in a single layer or in batches for a few minutes until all sides get a bit of color. Season with salt, pepper, and finely minced garlic." Next, she mixes the cooked mushrooms with farro or couscous, fresh herbs, and a zesty lemon vinaigrette or a savory soy-based dressing. It's a flavor combo that's sure to make everyone exclaim,
"These are fantastic mushrooms."
One of Della Poya's go-to tricks for boosting mushroom flavor is adding a splash of wine for that fungi finesse. Whether white or red, the wine adds a subtle acidity that balances the dish and enhances the overall taste. Many restaurants rely on wine or vinegar for this same reason, giving sautéed mushrooms an extra layer of flavor and richness. Another pro technique is deglazing, which Zamara highlights as a must-try for pan-fried or sautéed mushrooms. Deglazing involves pouring a liquid into a hot pan to lift the browned bits left behind from cooking vegetables or meat. Zamara recommends deglaze with wine or vinegar, but be careful not to overdo it, unless you want to stew. To deglaze mushrooms, start by cooking them in a pan until they reach your preferred doneness. Near the end, pour in a little wine or vinegar, or get creative with stock, water, spirits, or even cream, depending on the flavor you want. Keep the heat on and use a spatula to gently scrape up the browned bits from the bottom of the pan. Those stuck-on morsels are full of flavor and get reincorporated into the mushrooms. You can either let the liquid cook off entirely or leave some behind to create a savory sauce, depending on the dish you're making. Grilling isn't just for meats and vegetables. Mushrooms benefit from it too. Zamara suggests that home cooks place large mushrooms, like maitake or other big caps, directly on the grill hole to get the best flavor and texture.
Ron?
What in the devil's name is this?
Portobello mushrooms.
Janny prefers to cut her mushrooms into slices and soak them in a marinade before grilling, explaining, "Give them a quick marinade in a simple olive oil, vinegar, garlic, and Worcestershire before grilling, and finish with a glaze or barbecue sauce." I love grilling meaty mushrooms like lion's mane, king trumpet, or black pearl. With the right approach, virtually any mushroom can hit the grill. Big mushrooms can go straight onto the grates, while smaller ones do better in a grill basket, wrapped in foil or threaded onto skewers. Perfect for your next summer cookout. Because mushrooms are so flavorful, chefs find countless ways to include them in dishes. One popular trick is using dried mushrooms, which Della Poya notes pack an incredible punch of flavor. You can rehydrate them to cook like fresh mushrooms, or grind them into a fine powder. Della Poya sprinkles mushroom powder as a seasoning, explaining shiitake powder, granulated onion, granulated garlic, and a dash of white pepper makes for a very intense, flavorful spice blend. Using mushroom powder is an easy way to boost umami in veggies, or add a rich, savory dimension to soups and sauces. Different types of mushrooms bring distinct flavor notes to a dish. For instance, Zamara favors finely ground porcini, commenting, "My favorite is to use mushroom powder to add in the pan just before deglazing. This intensifies the flavors and aromas and acts as a thickener to any sauce." Dried mushrooms aren't just for adding flavor or thickening dishes, they have other versatile applications in the kitchen as well. Janny notes, "If you're looking for health benefits but don't like eating mushrooms, try a tea blend or make your own by adding some dehydrated lion's mane or reishi mushrooms to your favorite tea blends." Keep in mind that certain mushrooms benefit from a longer simmer in water instead of just a quick soak like tea. Regardless, with their wide range of uses, dried mushrooms are a flexible ingredient that deserves a spot in every cook's pantry. For those eating plant-based or simply aiming to cut back on meat, mushrooms make an excellent stand-in. Many restaurants already swap them in for meat in various dishes, with the portobello burger being a classic example. The secret to making mushrooms hearty enough to satisfy meat lovers is to handle them like you would meat. Grilling, braising, or even deep frying all enhance their natural flavors. Janny singles out lion's mane as the ultimate meaty mushroom for this purpose. When torn by hand, lion's mane delivers a tender, fibrous texture that works beautifully in dishes that usually use shredded chicken or pulled pork. Mushrooms like lion's mane, king oyster, and black pearl also make fantastic steaks or burger patties. In some cases, they can even stand in for seafood. For instance, lion's mane can shine in vegan crab cakes, while the sliced, seared stems of king oysters can mimic scallops. If that feels a bit daunting, Janny offers some practical tips. Remember, mushrooms don't always have to be the star of the show. Reap the benefits of mushrooms by adding a few handfuls of chopped mushrooms to just about any dish you're making. Thanks to their adaptability and deep umami-packed taste, mushrooms make a flavorful and fulfilling complement to virtually any dish.